This TFT player climbed to Masters 300 LP, forcing one build in 49 out of 50 straight games. The build? Annie Amp Strategist. But there's a twist. Here's how they did it. They only bought either a Nidalee or an Alistar on stage 1, as they could solo dolo the entire stage. This strategy nets you at least 10 gold before anybody else is even close. From there, the strategy is to open fort stage 2. This strategy allows you to stabilize stage 3 or pick up at least 3 Cypher units and play that to cash out at 3-7. Finally, you're going to roll down at level 8, picking up all the amp champions you need, your Nico, your Echo, and then once you at least have a 2-star Annie, 2-star Nico, you eco back up to level 9 to cap your board with that roll down for the 2-star Samira and maybe Zac up front. That's just the bones of it. However, let's dive into the meat and potatoes. All right, welcome to the meat and potatoes portion of this video. We are going to break down my Annie Amp Strategist game here. It is a high tempo game. It is Scuttle Puddle Encounter. So we are going to implement all strategies I mentioned earlier in the video, except for the Nidalee and Alistar one. The reason for that is any one cost works against Scuttle Puddle or Crab Rave, as obviously the crabs don't attack you. So we're using Vi in this scenario. However, any other encounter, you can use the 1-star Alistar or 1-star Nidalee. They work perfectly fine. They'll be able to solo dolo the entire stage and get you at least 10 gold. Again, it depends on how many items you get based on the percentage of what's going to be dropping in terms of gold and items. But regardless, in this gameplay, we have the Golden Ox Crest that we don't take. So even though there's Golden Ox in the Annie build, we don't start with that, as we want to ensure an econ item to start. So the best thing you can do is get an econ item, then you progress to items and then combat. We don't really get an eco item that helps us level, but we do get Caretaker's Favor, which is a extremely good augment to start off with. Because it's a high tempo game and we have 20 gold off the rip, I did start with some units just to try to minimize our losses. It didn't really work too well, but in a normal encounter game, if you only have 10 gold off rip, you can open fort in this scenario. I know the guide that we broke down from the Reddit user there outlined that they did pick up Cypher units to go Cypher, which is what we started doing here. You can also open fort. If open fort is getting you that max gold, that's the strategy you should take. As I switch into here, as you can see, somewhat of an open fort. I still have a champion on the board, but alas, it still works the same. But the major strategy here is that you have as much gold as possible. You lose streak into stage 3 so that you can eventually roll down and get the 2-star Samira, the 2-star Annie, and stuff like that. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly the best in slot items for the champions, how this game went itself. I find even with the open forting, this build, it does have a high cap. You can cap out with first place majority of the time when you hit your units. But when you don't hit your units, it is a little bit tricky. You can finish 5th, 6th. If you don't hit anything at all, that's a fast 8th. But that's just TFT. That's just RNG. So Annie is our main carry. What you want with Annie is essentially her to cast. You need her to cast as much as possible in the game. So tiers are most important. That's why we open fort and lost streak. We want to be first to both carousels, the stage 2 carousel and the stage 3 carousel. I find being first one there, chances are you are getting that tier both times, so you can make the blue buff on Annie. You can make the Shojins as the second item, and then you can make Nashers as the third item. Alternatively, if you don't get that many blue buffs, focus and prio the blue, if you don't get enough tiers, focus and prio the blue buffs. Once you have the blue buff, you can then go Nashers, and then if you need to, you can go Void Staff. You can go another AP item like JG, Rabadons, whatever you actually have in terms of the items. From there, Annie will carry you through stage 4, stage 5 significantly. However, Samira is really important to this build. Samira is how you really cap out and you win these games. You need to at least 2-star her or 1-star her with her best in slot items or just great items in general, as they're the key for late stage 4, early stage 5, late stage 5, as everybody else starts capping their boards. And as they cap your boards, the 2-star Annie alone can't essentially carry you through those stages. You're going to need to have the Samira itemized as well. So what are Samira items, you may ask? The best items that I like to use on Samira are IE and then Last Whisper. There's a few other third items you can use. You can throw the new one, Guard Breaker. I never remember the name. It's still too fresh in my mind to remember. It's like Flails something. But that's the one you're going to use as a third one. You can also use Giant Slayer. You can even use Shojin's, Kraken's Fury. So any items, leftover AD items that you can make, you toss on Samira. The most important part is you have 3 AD items on her, or 3 items that she likes. Moving on from Samira, your main tank is going to be Neeko. You can put any tank items on Neeko, Warmogs, Declaw, Brambles. You can do Gargoyles. You can even do Spark in this situation. However, once you get to level 9, you're doing the roll down for your Samira. If you happen to hit Zac or even Garen, in the guide that we were reviewing earlier, they mentioned Garen is a good option. I have yet to try Garen in this build, but a 5 cost like that where you can add mods is always beneficial. So either Zac or Garen you can throw on there. If you do get a Zac, you can move those Neeko items onto Zac, as Zac is the better tank. If you 2-star Zac, you're smooth sailing essentially to an almost automatic first. So proud of those tank items, as well as having Annie, Samira, and then Zac itemized is the true key to this build. Another way you can look at this here, it's a little bit tougher because you need to make the decision between going fast 9 or staying at level 7, is Yumi. If you have Yumi items and you have a lot of early Yumis, you can stay a little bit to go for that 3-star Yumi, as Yumi's absolutely OP. What I'd recommend is if you have at least 2 best in slot items for Yumi, you have a lot of tiers, and you don't think you're going to be able to go level 9 with the eco that you have, you can sit at 7 and you reroll for the Yumi. Yumi items are going to be JG, Blue Buff, and then the Hextech Gunblade. If you have 2 out of those 3 items, I would suggest going Yumi as a secondary carry, even the primary carry. However, you do need a lot of Yumis to start. If you are getting a lot of Yumis in your shop, maybe that is an angle you can take. Again, it is optional. It is going to vary game to game. So do essentially what's best for your board. Aim for the initial 5 amp, level 9 Samira Annie carry. But if the game's giving you Yumi, you can't say no when it's giving you Yumi, because she is overpowered right now. So that's the different variation you can go with Yumi. What I'd recommend in that regard is to stick to the level 9 build unless you have a crap ton of Yumis. Moving on to the final board, essentially what it's going to look like at level 9 is you're going to want Echo, Nidalee, Neferi, Zac, Viego, Neeko, Annie, Yumi, and Samira. You're going to want that 5 amp, 3 street demon, and then you have Zac and Viego up top. Viego is obviously to proc the Golden Ox portion of the build, and then Zac is just overpowered as a tank late game, especially if it's 2-starred. So, for the Golden Ox procs, what you can do, and as you can see from our gameplay here, is I haven't had any Golden Ox stacks yet in the game, despite having it in. This is because I'm trying to save my gold as best as possible to hit that level 9 in this high tempo lobby. However, you can get Golden Ox stacks early. That is such a tongue twister. But you can get Golden Ox stacks early if you have it on your board after you open forward when you roll down to stabilize in stage 3 a bit. You can enter that in with Cypher potentially and get those stacks early to ensure that come late game, you have a lot of damage amp for your Annie carry. So that is an option and a route you can go early game. What we can also discuss there is putting in Cypher units. So you can see in this gameplay, I am using Cypher. This is a strategy that you can go if you hit Cypher. Like I mentioned in terms of open forting, you can sub out the open fort strategy to hold Cypher units and then play Cypher until 3-7. So that's what we do partially in this game. We use the Cypher up until 3-7 just to maximize the amount of gold and eco we can get, because we are lacking that initial first eco augment. So playing these 4 Cypher units, it allows a little bit of a cash out. I think we get to 50 potentially. And then at 3-7, we just take whatever the Cypher cash out gives us. And we use that money towards leveling, rolling down, and getting that capped board with Annie and Samira. So having a look at the gameplay here, we did pick Portable Forge as our second augment. That augment is extremely beneficial in this current meta as well. Just as a quick side note, if you get Portable Forge or you get Living Forge with Prismatic augment encounters, that is completely overpowered. There's so many builds that skyrocket with these artifact items. Thinking back to even the Graves build, if you get Titanic Hydra Trenchcoat here with a Philios Vanguard or Samira, you can use Flicker Blade on. If you're doing the Gorilla build, you can put the Locket on Mundo, and late game 3-star Mundo just becomes absolutely broken with that build. Just doesn't die. So I'd recommend going that augment, the Portable Forge, if you have it available. Obviously, augments are augments. You never know what you're going to get. You got to just take the best available. So as you can see here, automatically we take the Cypher cash out. We get a 2-star Senna. I sell it right away. The reason for that is, again, I'm solely committed on playing this Annie Amp Strategist build. Even though we only have one Neferi, one Nico, we're still going it. That's what we're positioning for. We get lucky here with this shop with an Annie, a Viego, another Nico. So essentially that just furthers our build more. We even high roll a Samira. So that's how we know that the RNG is in our favor this game. Obviously, it's never going to be this lucky in every game that you play. Sometimes you don't hit till late, but we're starting our roll down here 4-1. We had the luxury to roll down at 4-1 because of the high tempo Scuttle Puddle encounter. It lets us have 50 gold to roll down at level 8 before most of the lobby. So by doing so, we hit all the champions and units we needed. That Samira 1-star, Annie 1-star will get us through a few rounds of the stage. But because of the high tempo in Scuttle Puddle, we do need to roll some more to ensure that 2-star Annie. You always want either a 2-star Nico, 2-star Annie to propel you. You can get away in these games with 2 or at least 1-star forecast. So whether the Nico or the Annie, they both work. The augment I end up choosing here, I believe, is Blazing Soul. Let's have a look just to see if I'm right. Come on, Blazing Soul. I knew it. So Blazing Soul, of course, is overpowered. We do have Annie in our shop as well. So this is a completely RNG lucky game. No way in heck you're going to be getting this much luck in RNG unless it's completely uncontested. Again, we were uncontested here. So by being uncontested, all those items, or excuse me, all those units are available in your shop, more so than everybody else because they're going for other forecasts. So that could be a strategy as well. I know the open fort concept, you are going to essentially be forcing this build. But if you get lucky and you're uncontested, you can hit those units pretty easily in the uncontested form. But if you are contested, that's where the open fort and the saving the money really comes in handy. As the more money that you save, the quicker you can go level 8, the quicker you roll down before the rest of the lobby, and the easier it is to hit those champions. Again, in this game, we get extremely lucky. We're already at 5 amp at stage 4-3. We have our Street Demon. We have our Golden Ox. We're at 20 stacks in terms of Golden Ox, which isn't the best, but now we can manage our gold because look at this. Level 8, we have a 2-star Annie, 2-star Nico, 1-star Samira with 2 items, and 67 gold. So now we can use that 67 gold to go level 9. Once we're level 9, we can roll down for the Zac. That's our ideal goal there, is to get the Zac in there and then 2-star your Samira. So this game I did enjoy because we did go down only to 44 health before we hit everything. So that pretty much guarantees us to win out the rest of the stage here with the items and the champions that we have. What I would recommend is you find yourself rolling down a lot in stage 4 when you hit the 50 gold level 8. As soon as you hit that 2-star Annie or a 2-star Nico with a Samira, that's when you can stop rolling. You eco back up to your 50 gold, and even if you lose a couple games or a couple rounds in stage 4, as long as you have decent amount health here, you can wait and roll down at level 9 to try to get that 2-star Samira, as that 2-star Samira is what caps out the board for the win. If you are struggling on health and you're not hitting as much as you need to, you may have to donkey roll at level 8 to try to get that 2-star Annie, as it's absolutely crucial. Without the 2-star Annie, you just bleed out slowly through stage 4, and then stage 5 is just the straw that breaks the camel's back. So as you see here, because we are uncontested, we have 6 Annies already. Of course, if it's in our shop, we're going to take it. There's no issue with that. What I like here is that we have 3 items on Samira, 3 items on Annie at 4-6. We don't have full 3 items on Nico. What I would recommend is to prioritize the tank items over the Samira items off the rip, as you do need to sustain the front line for Annie to cast as much as she casts. This game, the reason why we have the 3 on Samira is we did get that portable forge with the artifact item. So beggars can't be choosers. If we're getting an artifact item, we're slamming it on Samira. Now we are rolling here to maximize the stacks. We made sure we hit that 24. We're going to do the same in the following rounds, trying to maximize that damage amp for Annie. And again, once we hit level 9, we're going to roll down for that 2-star Viego, 2-star Samira, and a Zac. Of course, buy all of the units along the way. Like I mentioned, we only have a 1-star Yumi right now, but if you can 3-star Yumi, super overpowered. And just go from there. Just buy at this point with level 9, 48 gold. Again, it's a high tempo game, so this is an outlier. It's a perfect example to explain this build, but don't think you're going to get as lucky every game in this. With all the champions and with all the gold, this, like I mentioned with Scuttle Puddle, is an outlier. But once you go level 9, you roll down for, you buy those Garens, you buy those Zacs, Viego, Samiras, and then 2-star everybody else. And that should propel you to at least the top 4 by the middle of stage 5. So looking at the roll down here, exactly as I mentioned, you're rolling down. You can buy 4 costs along the way to maximize it. But then whatever 5 costs you 2-star first, Garen or Zac, you buy, you play, and then you can also obviously sub it out. In this game, I think there was other people with Zac. Someone had a 2-star Zac, so it was very, very hard to hit that 2-star Zac. So I just played the Garen, used those mods accordingly, and that helped propel me to top 4. We ended up finishing this game top 2. The reason for that is somebody hit a 3-star 4 cost. With my amount of gold, my one mistake was not purchasing the units that, like at this stage here, not scouting as well as I did. As we can see, I am scouting here, but I didn't scout as well as I should have in terms of buying the units to block the 3-star 4 cost. That's just an unfortunate reality. Some games it happens. But a top 2 is a top 2. It's better than a bottom 4. So the way I see it is it was a bonus, it was a plus. However, this amount of gold and this high RNG, you should be winning out. This build has the potential to win out. It's one of the best currently in this patch to win out if you hit the 2-star Samira, 2-star Annie, 2-star Nico, and then you have a 2-star either Garen or Zac on the front line. The cap out is exponential. And that's why it's one of the only S tiers of this current patch, along with the Dynamo Misfortune Elise build. So this is nearing close to the end of the game here, even though everybody's still alive in this lobby, as you can see. It was a fairly close game, but we end up hitting that 2-star Samira. The 2-star Samira is exponentially better. Here I removed the items and put that Giant Slayer on Viego just because we had a little extra AD items available. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, the IE and the Last Whisper, I personally like as the best in slot items on Samira. I know she has a lot of different potential items like we mentioned, but IE and Last Whisper I find are extremely crucial on her. So just by putting that in here, we're going to start picking off the people one by one. Everybody slowly gets eliminated before the eventual heartbreak of the 3-star 5 cost. That really lets me down in this game. But you can't win them all. Like I said, top 2's top 2, which is good in itself. You just you take your win, you take your cap out, and you move on to the next. I was extremely close on Annie here, but I didn't hit. That would have been an extreme benefit. What's cool about this game is this person that I was facing, Son of the Night, they had a 2-star Samira too. So it is possible to cap out with 2-star 5 costs in the same lobby against the guy who eventually beats me. as I believe it's them with the 3-star brand. At this point, I should be looking for brands and rolling it down. But instead, I'm just saving the gold, going for my roll down to try to get that 2-star Zac. Hindsight, that is the mistake there. I should be focusing on blocking that 3-star brand. Nonetheless, I did consider it a fairly interesting and fun game to play here. I did go and continue forcing some Annie Amp Strategist throughout the day with mixed results. So again, like I mentioned, if you hit at early stage 4, you get that 2-star Annie, that's when you can position yourself to cap out the board. Same thing with Samira. If you hit that Samira early or at the 4-3 carousel, that's what propels you to that next level and lets you go through stage 4 and the early stage 5 easily. Some games, obviously, you're not going to hit the Samira. Other people are going to have Samira. You're not going to hit your 2-star Annie. You may not even hit the Golden Ox trait with Viego there. So it does vary here and there. I had some 5ths. I had an 8th with it. I had a couple 3rds, couple 2nds, and a couple wins. So the potential is there for this build in terms of the cap out. You do just need to ensure that you manage your eco early game. Like I mentioned, my my recommendation for this build is to open for it. If you know you're going to force it, you know you want to go Annie Amp Strategist, you see that nobody else really has an angle for it in terms of what they get early on, open for it. Make sure you get as much gold as possible early game so you have the option to roll down with at least 50 gold stage 4 so that you give yourself the best opportunity possible to get that Samir and to get that Annie to start. In this game, with the high tempo Scuttle Puddle encounter, it was fairly easier, but everybody else's boards were capped as well. So you could see with everyone else's boards having capped out with the Scuttle Puddle encounter, the Annie Amp Strategist build is still reigning supreme. It is still at the top of the lobby, minus that 3-star brand. So if you have that opportunity, like I mentioned, give it a try before the new patch. I have a feeling it'll still be pretty good after the new patch. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But there is potential here for you to win out most of your games. All right, and we finished 2nd place. If you like this video, make sure you like it below. Otherwise, you can subscribe as well on YouTube. It definitely helps. We'll have a lot more meta videos coming up. And as always, enjoy the grind. I'll catch you next time.